Lesson 4 Compare and Contrast Part 1. 1.1. As the Civil War came to a close, President Abraham Lincoln began to consider how the United States should be rebuilt. His plan for reconstructing the South called for generous terms that would allow the nation to heal with as little animosity as possible between the North and the South. On the other hand, the radical Republicans in Congress strongly opposed this plan. They believed that the Confederacy should receive harsh penalties for the difficulties of the Civil War. 1.2. No time in the history of the United States was more tumultuous than the dozen years following the Civil War, the period known as Reconstruction. The reasons for this are obvious, in retrospect. Some people wanted the South to pay for its actions, they had a punitive attitude. Others, however, wanted a gentler healing hand to reunite the country. The new president, Andrew Johnson, exemplified this latter group. President Johnson supported the views of the recently assassinated Abraham Lincoln. The North, and the group of politicians from the South known as the Radical Republicans, wanted to give full rights to recently freed enslaved people, whereas much of the South remained committed to preserving its social and economic way of life. The Radical Republicans disapproved of President Johnson's lenient approach. Eventually, they impeached him. Their actions fell just one senatorial vote short of having President Johnson removed from office. The war devastated the South, with many cities such as Atlanta, Georgia, and Columbia, South Carolina, burned to the ground. A significant percentage of Southern men had been killed or wounded in the war, leaving the South less able to rebuild itself. It would take years to restore the cities and repair the damage to industry and the economy, but these desperate needs created opportunities for extraordinary profits and exploitation of those weakened by the war. Northerners moving to the South to take advantage of those opportunities were known as carpetbaggers, owing to the type of luggage they carried. Protections against such exploitation were not nearly so numerous or effective as they are today. A serious economic depression in the United States in 1873 significantly hampered the resolve of the more economically powerful North to provide Reconstruction assistance to the South. The former Northern General Ulysses S. Grant was president at this time. He withdrew the troops protecting the South from various abuses, leaving Southerners to fend for themselves. This situation led to the rise of powerful Southern political and economic interests, including some radical groups such as the Ku Klux Klan. The South became a racially divided society, which continued until the civil rights movement of the 1960s. Reconstruction was a critical time for the United States. The decisions made and actions taken at the time have had lasting effects. As a result, this post-war period presents ample opportunities for comparing and contrasting. 1.3. In June 1863, Confederate General Robert E. Lee led his troops into Pennsylvania, with the aim of capturing the railroad hub at Harrisburg. While marching through Pennsylvania, Lee forbade his troops from looting farms or destroying homes. Instead, his troops paid for the food they took with useless Confederate money. In May 1864, Union General William T. Sherman began his march through Georgia. Sherman encouraged his men to take food and livestock from the farms they passed.